Today, we'll be ranking sweatshops. So first up, we got Apple. In the factories that manufacture Apple's iPhones, the working conditions got so bad that their workers regularly started hurling themselves off the top of the factory buildings. A fantastic solution to this issue, however, was implemented by the factory owners, which was to force their employees to sign a waiver stating that the sweatshop owners would not be made liable if the employees offed themselves. After some surprising backlash against this policy, Apple was able to address what is really the root of the problem, right? By instead installing nets at the bottom of the iPhone factory buildings to catch any workers who, jumped off. All I can say is Apple sure thinks different when it comes to innovating how workers can bounce back to work. I think I'm going to rank Apple S for suicide nets. Next up, we got Nike. The swoosh symbol here is not just a check. It's checking all the boxes for sweatshop bingo. Child labor, check. Denying bathroom breaks? Check. Overheating their workers? Double check. This giant corporation has been sprinting away from better working conditions for decades. Yale mentions that up to 50% of Nike factories restrict access to toilets and drinking water, don't give workers a single day off in 7 days, and work in temperatures over 90 degrees, as well as pay below the region's minimum wage. As an added bonus, Nike didn't pay nearly 600,000 hours of overtime to Indonesian shoe plant workers. Because of all that, I'm going to go ahead and give Nike an S for shoe sweatshop, as well as another S for swoosh. Next, we have Adidas. I think this one will probably rank pretty high. In their clothing factories in Indonesia, workers said that they have to skip meals to save money, and every day some of the workers pass out in the factories from exhaustion. And things get exciting in the Philippines Adidas factories, where wages are so low that over half of workers in an interview said that they are forced to pawn ATM cards to loan sharks for high-interest loans in order to get the privilege of continuing to work for this innovative company. Some managers have thrown shoes at the workers and even slapped workers across the face. Maybe if managers throw enough shoes at their workers, the workers might be able to afford an Adidas shoe collection by just bringing the shoes thrown at them home. As an added bonus, one worker was fired for telling a factory auditor how long that they actually worked, which was until 10 p.m. on a daily basis. We're going to go ahead and give Adidas an S for shark, for loan shark. S for loan shark. Now let's move on to OpenAI, creator of ChatGPT. So here's a little twist. Instead of physical labor, we got mental strain. OpenAI outsourced their work to label ChatGPT's responses as ethical or not to Kenya, where workers had to sift through some of the most disturbing content you can imagine for $1 an hour. And one worker tasked with reading and labeling text for OpenAI said that he suffered from recurring visions after reading about a graphic description of a man having with a in the presence of a young child. In this horror movie, workers read a number of things like that throughout the week, and yet because they're at least sitting in a room that's room temperature, I guess we'll rate OpenAI a B for bathroom break. But it does seem that even the AI that flags unethical content wasn't programmed well enough to flag its own creation process. Lastly, let's cruise on over to Tesla. I can see why they call it the American dream, because these workers desperately want more REM sleep. One worker mentioned that he was expected to work 12 hours a day for 10 days in a row at a time. And workers at Tesla factories are apparently so terrified of taking a bathroom break that they avoid drinking water, leading to dehydration and, on occasion, vomiting right at their stations. But wait, there's more. Instead of treating injuries that happen on the job, employees often keep working, believe over the Tesla parts in order to meet production deadlines. I guess Elon is dedicated to literally putting his workers' blood, sweat, and tears into the Teslas. Anyway, always nice to see an American company make the Sweatshop list. So let's give Tesla an A for American Sweatshop. And here's a list of a few companies whose sweatshops I unfortunately did not get a chance to review today. These companies all actually happen to be my Patreon supporters as well, so I got to make sure to have their names at the end of my video.